What's going on, y'all? This is week 3 podcast with commissioners. I'm your host, Aaron Smith. I got my co-commissioner here, Kyle Moorfield. He's coming into the scene real quick. King of the Tuna Daubers. This is Do You Believe in Magic? King, HLR King. Real quick, there was some concern that we didn't do the podcast on Tuesday night last night. I had some personal things going on, which enabled me from not being able to do the podcast. My wife is pregnant. Everybody knows now. Nobody knew that. And she was having some issues. So me being the good father I am, I had to make sure my kids were taken care of, and we were just unable to do the podcast. But we're here tonight. So everybody don't fret. There's nothing wrong between me and Kyle, or nothing wrong with either one of us. We just had some personal things to take care of. We're all good. Let's get right into the podcast this week, week 3.
Yeah. Before we'll go cover up week 2 here.
Week 2.
High score of the week was Moore Gooder, 238.4 points. Toilet Bowl. You play this guy. Sandusky hurt my tight end.
I think I heard his
You
tight
heard
end.
his tight end.
That's what it was. That sounded a little bit better. More Gooder called a shot last week, said, hey, he was going to dominate, kick some ass. He did it. He got the high points. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, I will say congratulations. Put him at 2-0 for the record. Not a bad start. We'll
right.
see how it goes from there.
Even with one of us picking.
Speaking of which, the commissioner picks.
Yeah.
I went 5-7, same record as the first week, so I'm pretty consistent. You upped it up quite a bit of a notch there. You went 7-5 last
I
week.
did a little more homework
Yeah.
last week, made my picks a little more logical. And
So,
with that said,
unfortunately, that's why I wear my visor tonight, because the crown is leaving my hands.
yeah,
As well as the cash.
the cash. This is what we play for real. Forget the crown.
Oh man, that's disheartening. That puts me at 10-14 on the season, and you 11-13. So you guys get all bent out of shape about our commissioner picks. We're still under 500. So even if we pick against you, it's actually better for you.
I won't be over 500 very long. I'm going to boost mine up here this week.
We'll see. We're going to get into that later. But we got some things to cover.
We do have some things to cover.
Some
There was
questions, some things coming up.
There were some questions about the backup rule. When you post backups in your lineup, when you submit your lineup, it gives us a list of the players you submitted as backups. Now, once those games start and your player does not play in that game, we then go in and manually adjust it. So the website does not do the adjustment manually. So if you have somebody that sets out, does not play a snap, which we can check that, if we don't have your backup in by the time the game's over, give us a text, shoot us a text, let us know, we'll adjust that.
Yeah.
That's
simple as that.
Simple as that.
We don't watch every one of your players and come up with a 0. Sometimes we may just think they got a 0. They didn't play, whatever. If you have any concern about it, let one of us know. We'll look into it. And
as far as the IR rule goes, the IR is for if you have a player that's out for a week, 2 weeks. IR is not for the whole year. So if you have a player that, an example, last week Green Bay had a Thursday night game and Greg Jennings was listed out at about 4 o'clock. And I got a text message saying, hey, I want to put Greg Jennings on IR. The website won't let me. So I was able to do that from that point for the person. They were able to pick up a receiver. That guy didn't work out too good for Mr. Hardcore. But that's how the IR rule works. If you have somebody that's out or doubtful and you need to put them on the IR, you can do that. Pick up another player. But as soon as that guy is eligible to play again, you have to drop the player you picked up and then activate your IR guy. It's just that simple. It's not very hard.
Any more questions? Let one of us know. We'll try to fill you in and be as exact as we can about the information.
Yep.
So we're here for you guys. Come on.
No bush leagues.
No bush league.
Man, we need some bush names instead of some balls.
Maybe, yeah. Some of these guys in this league need some bush.
I don't need no bush, that's for sure.
If you know what I mean. All right. Well, some other people have communicated to us and have wanted us to communicate back to the league.
We got some text messages and some quotes read. Quote number 1 is from Moore Gooder. This goes out for this week. He said, my team is my team. Not scared of anyone and definitely not scared of fear, putts instead of fits.
Uh-oh.
Quote number 1. I got to get my phone out for a couple other quotes that I got this week. I got one from NDN who was not busy anymore kicking his own ass after losing the fear fits last week.
I'm kicking my ass.
He said, tell Mr. Hawaii 5-0, every squirrel gets a nut sooner or later, and for Tuna, his ass is getting canned this week, guaranteed.
I don't think so.
That's a quote from Mr. Indian, Notre Dame Nation. We have one other quote from the Shawshankers. This was a little more of a sentimental quote, more than anything for me. He said, he's making a trade before kickoff Thursday. As for the Tuna Daubers, his luck's going to run out. Prayers go with Aaron and his family. Stay strong. Taking offers for Julio Jones.
Well, hey, I'm willing to trade. Shawshankers, send me a deal, and I don't need receivers. I'm stacked of receivers. Stop sending me receivers.
I'm willing to trade.
I don't want
too.
2 receivers that aren't going to start on my team for one of my starters. I need running back help. Come on here. And somebody said that I needed a second quarterback.
Doesn't look
earlier
like
in
it.
the season, but I already got, a number 3 quarterback.
RG3.
RG3.
The new Glam Cam.
Eat that.
He said eat that. Real quick, a lot of people want to know how I get trades done so quickly, so easily, and other people don't trade. It's because I look at the other team and see what their weakness is, and if I have something that can fill that void, I start sending offers to them for those players and try to get the players that help fill the void on my team. That's how trades happen. Don't look at your team and say, okay, I'm low. I got 5 receivers here. Let me trade 2 of them for 1, or I got 5 running backs. Let me try to hoard them all and then try to ask for Matt Stafford, for example, for one of my subpar running backs.
Or Shawshankers trying to offer me 2 receivers for a receiver when I got a lot of receivers.
Look at the
I don't
weaknesses.
need receivers.
Look at the places you feel like the other team has weaknesses on, and then attack that and trade offers, and maybe more trades will happen.
And I'm not dogging Shawshankers trade offer per se. If I had 1 starting receiver and 2 bums, I would have hopped all over the offer because then I could have used those 2 receivers as starters.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what's going to happen with my existing lineup or the guys on my team. That's where it doesn't help. I need other positional players. And that's how me and him would be able to get a deal done.
There you go. Anyway, let's move on. So we broke down the trades, the IR, the backup players. What do you want else we want to break down today?
Well, we got somebody that wants to break something down.
We have, for the first time this year, a in-house studio guest. And we're going to bring him on in right now. Might be a little close here, so I'm going to step out of the picture. But here he is, guys.
The 6165 show.
6165 show. Miglik, I'm not on camera, but he can still hear me. We've got a little rant and rave he wants to say, but we got a couple questions for him. How's it feel? I know better than anybody. I had 2 teams. How's it feel to start off talking shit and being 0-2?
I tell you, it sucks, man. I feel like Fitz a little bit.
Ooh.
But you know,
Ba-bam!
That's
bam,
not
bam, I'm gonna do it too. But you know what? We made the playoffs last year. I believe there's 2 other teams in this league that are 0-2 that also made the playoffs just last year, and one won the championship last year. So you know what? The season's not done yet, and we got a fun one coming up this week.
The Killer Bees, you're right. And how do you think you're going to fare against the Killer Bees?
You know, I tell you, with Brad being out of baseball this past year, it's just kind of want to renew that rivalry. I mean, I've been looking forward to this one since it was put on the schedule. So, you know, and Shannon, I'll go way back with him too. So it's going to be a fun one. We got a lot of common players, but it's going to be a fun one, I think.
Yeah, this week does
A
start.
lot of
There's
bees,
gonna
though,
be-
man. We're
yeah.
killing some bees.
And there's going to be a lot of offsets. Players in other conferences playing one another, so offsets will be a key. So look at your lineup. When you're setting it to play the other player, and may be able to use some of those offsets or go against them. Strategery, folks. Come on.
One other quick question before we let you do your little rant, rave, or say whatever else you got to say. There's been a couple guys ask me that they've said they've sent you trade offers and you haven't responded, or you left them on the website for 1 or 2 days, and you know that's not how we roll. So give us your thoughts on
It's
those.
like I said, you know, to kind of go back to what Kyle said a minute ago, you know, think about the players we need. Yeah, Darren McFadden's a great running back, but you know, I tried to work out a deal with Wayne, called him. Aaron sent me one the other day. You know, McFadden's a hot commodity, but like I said, Danny Amendola is not going to be any better than on our team. The running back's not terrible that you offered, but it's just we don't feel that way. And I mean, that's the one thing when you're having a partner, it's kind of to be on the same page with stuff like that. And we just feel we're comfortable with our team where it's at. And I mean, no offense to anybody, but it's just hard to counter sometimes when you're not even interested.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
respectable. If you're not
yeah.
interested, then no counters expected.
Now, let's say that you pull this victory off this week against the Killer Bees. That puts you at either at 1-3, or if you don't beat the Killer Bees, you're going to be at 0-4.
That'd actually be 1-2 and 0-3.
Well, you play me week 4, so that's an automatic loss. So you'll be at 1-3.
Ba-bam!
0-4. Ba-bam! So, how do you think you're going to dig out of that hole if that happens?
You know,
1-3 or 0-4? What are you going to do?
You know, we're a tough team, and I think we have 2 good quarterbacks. We had a good week from Aaron week 1, and we had a good week from Vic last week. So hopefully we can get that 2 together and put it all together. Because I think the rest of our team's good. It's just we got to get some consistency out of our quarterbacks.
Well, I did pick you to make the playoffs, so we'll see how the rest of your season unfolds. Any last words for the High Rollers League?
Not much. Just Brad and Shannon, we're swatting some bees this week, so you better get ready.
Ba-bam.
Swatting some bees. Thank you very much for coming into the
Thanks,
studio.
6165 Show, Jason Migler.
We're
co-owner.
looking for you. You bring your ass in the studio. You got something to say. You got to call somebody out. You want to answer some commissioner questions. We're here for you. Don't be scared. Come in here, man up to the camera, and say, I'm fucking 0-2, and I'm going to beat this guy this week. And if you don't, at least you give Balls credit for coming in here and doing it.
Ba-bam!
And if you're not able to come in studio, we've got phones, folks. We'll take your phone call. We'll Skype. We'll do whatever you
Whatever
need to
you
do
wanna
for this
do.
podcast. Come on.
We want y'all's input. We want y'all to get involved in it as much as we are. We're taking our time out here to do this podcast. You take some of your time out and get this call. Don't be scared.
That's right. Here we go. We're going to go into week 3 picks.
Let's go. I'm
Speaking
ready
of which,
for it.
let's start off right off the top. 6165 Show versus the Killer Bees. Break it down.
This is a breakdown game. I'm going to roll with the Killer Bees this week. I feel like Cam showed up. He showed me that he can be the Cam he was last year. I like Rivers against Atlanta in the shootout. Atlanta's been in a shootout in every game they play. DMC, they both got him. It's an offset. I like Lynch against Green Bay. Ridley against Baltimore's a little shaky matchup. Percy Harvin against the Niners. I don't really like it because I think the Percy Harvin's going to suffer because of his quarterback. But Miles Austin, 2 TDs in the first 2 weeks. I like him. I like Philadelphia against Arizona's defense. Although 6165 does have Vic against Arizona. Rodgers against Seattle, but which has the number 2 rush defense. Doesn't help the pass defense, though. MJD against Indy, I like that. I'm going to go with, like I said, DMC's offset. His receivers are the biggest question mark, in my opinion. I don't trust Brandon Lloyd, especially against the Ravens. A.J. Green had a good week, but he hasn't really had 100 yards and a touchdown. He had 60, 70 yards and a touchdown. That's not bad. Against Washington, maybe it'll come up some. I don't know what he's going to do with third receiver. I'm going with Killer Bees.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the Killer Bees, too. I think the 6165 Show is going to start off 0-4 this season.
Wow.
Maybe it'll dig out of that hole once he gets past this guy. But I think the Killer Bees barely lost a matchup last week, which I really had them penciled to win. So I think Killer Bees is going to beat the 6165 Show and just really put a hurting on their season.
And I believe that was my spread game last week, and I didn't cover the spread, so I'm now 1-1 against the spread. But I do have a spread pick for you this week.
Uh-oh. Walmart Greeters versus LaVar's Legends.
Walmart Greeters against LaVar's Legends. Here's the spread game. LaVar's Legends, I have winning. However, I think the spread on the game should be around 30 points. But Walmart being 2-0, I'm going to take Walmart to cover the spread. This is going to be a close matchup. And Walmart could win it. LaVar's Legends has Big Ben against Oakland. I like that matchup. Stafford against Tennessee. Where in the hell is Matt Stafford? Has anybody seen this guy? Tell him to show up. He's not playing this year. It's time. Just throw it to Calvin. Yeah. I know he's going to get hurt because of the man cover, but show up. McCoy against Arizona. I love that matchup for LaVar. Greenells against Washington. Washington can't really stop anybody on defense. Rams prove that. I like Stevie Johnson, Mike Wallace, Steve Smith. If he can play, he'll be all right tomorrow night. 49ers against Minnesota is the best defense on matchup of the week. We got Walmart has been surprising me at 2-0. I was shocked at his team, but he does have Aaron Foster, Gore, Julio, Vernon Davis, Pitt, Matt Ryan, and the name is Dalton. But I am rolling with LaVar by a small margin, though.
I'm going to go with LaVar's Legends as well. Walmart Greeters specifically asked me before the draft, when we drew draft positions, he wanted to play LaVar's Legends. I made the matchup happen, but I've seen it too many times in this league. You ask for it, you're going to get it. Yeah. And I think Walmart Greeters is going to get it. An ass whooping by LaVar's Legends.
Now, I don't know about an ass whooping, but I think a little margin victory. I'm going with the under on Walmart.
Well, let's go with a newbie. Lethal Weapons versus Colossal Connection.
Well, this is not a breakdown pick. Colossal Connections, can you really go 0-3? If you do, you've got to promise me to make some trades or pickups that are valuable to your team. I'm going to roll with you one more week.
Yeah, I think I picked Colossal Connections the first 2 weeks, and it's hurt me. Lethal Weapons, I just think you don't have enough.
Dude, you got to taste them last week. They gave you all you wanted.
They gave me all I wanted. I did everything to try to help them get a victory. However, I think Colossal Connection isn't going to make the mistakes.
They would have whooped Colossal's ass last week.
Let's move on to the next one. Notre Dame Nation versus the Tuna Dabbers.
This is another breakdown game. This is a bragging rights at work. Notre Dame Nation got his tail handed to him last week by Fear Fitz. I, this week, am going to roll with, as soon as I find who I'm picking here. Okay, I'm rolling with the Tuna Dabbers. I like RG3 against Cincinnati. I love Phillip Rivers, who's averaging 23 points a game this year, unlike when I had him last year. I love Arian Foster. Everybody knows what he can do. CJ Spiller's the sleeper. He's not going to put Jamal Charles in the lineup this week late. He's going to keep Spiller in. He should do decent against Cleveland. Calvin's going to get his first touchdown. Notre Dame Nation, you do have a decent team. Breeze, Rivers is offset for you. That's going to hurt your team. DMC against Pitt. Do not like that matchup at all. Pittsburgh shuts down everybody's run. Murray against Tampa Bay. I like it. but you may start Reggie Bush because you were bragging about him at work, but he is playing the Jets. I'm going with the better receivers. I'm going with RG3. I'm going with the Tuna Daubers.
The Tuna Daubers. I'm going with the Tuna Daubers as well. Notre Dame Nation. Sorry, just like Fitz said, I'm going to introduce you to the league, and I'm going to finish it off.
Finish it off.
The Tuna Daubers. Ba-bam!
He's fired up tonight. I like it.
Woo! And I'm going to open that can you said you were going to put on me. I'm going to open it. It's going to be a can of whoop ass for you.
Woo!
Fear Foots versus More Gooder.
More Gooder is going to win this game. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what it is about this guy's team, but he starts off good every year. He's 3-0 after he beats Fear Fitz. Unless Flacco puts up 30, then Fear Fitz wins.
Yeah, I could see a situation where Fear Fitz wins, but I'm going to go with More Gooder. He's 2-0. He's doing everything right. High score of the week last week. I'm going More Gooder, and I know he doesn't like it.
And hopefully he didn't blow his load and put up the high score last week and get a total this week.
Blood, Sweat, and Beers versus Hardcore. Break it down.
Blood, Sweat, and Beers. You know, I looked at this game really hard, and it was tough for me to pick a winner. I just can't believe that Hardcore is going to start 0-3. I've got to take this guy this week. Blood, Sweat, and Beers has Cam. If he shows up, it's going to be tough for Hardcore to get a victory. I like Big Ben. He's got the best running backs with McCoy and Rice and Matthews coming back. Dwayne Bowe, I don't know if he can get 100 yards and a touchdown again. We'll see. New Orleans doesn't have any D. I don't like Percy Harvin at all against the Niners this week. Set him if you got him. Lloyd, I love Graham against Kansas City. Kansas City can't stop anybody's tight end. But Hardcore, I just can't believe you're gonna. You have bad matchups, Steven, and I'm picking you. So I'm picking Hardcore this week.
Yeah, our defending Super Bowl champion will not start 0-3. I think I picked him the previous 2 weeks. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't recall, but that's probably why my record's so bad in the pick'ems. But I'm going to go with him one more time. Third time's a charm. Hardcore, you cannot be the defending Super Bowl champ and start out 0-3. I don't see it happening.
You can't win the Shiva Bowl and then get the Balls Bowl, okay? This is the Dre year. If anybody don't know what we're talking about, that's the league.
Yeah, don't get the Sacco.
Don't get the Sacco.
Beers, I think it's going down.
The Sacco was on Blood, Sweat, and Beers table last year.
And he may be kidding it again this year. Balls Out versus the Shawshankers.
Okay, I'm going to roll with the Shawshankers this week. I think Balls Out's got some disarray. He's short one running back. I'm rolling with the Shawshankers. He'll make right lineup moves this week.
Yeah, I'm going with Shawshankers as well. They had a good performance last week. Picked against them. Kind of wish I wouldn't have. And this is going to be a pick where I think they're going to beat Balls Out. I think Balls Out's a little on the decline. I don't think is he in it? Is he?
He's definitely in it. He's out here trying to make moves, but people don't want to make moves happen. They want to farm for their players, like this guy.
Sometimes, that's where you got to have a better draft.
Yeah, that's true.
HLR versus Bohica.
No doubt. Bohica called me again, and he beer here, beer here.
Beer man!
You better go hustle some beer real good this week to pay this 50, because then after I beat you with HLR, I'm going to be up 100, not 100, 100. HLR wins. Big.
Whoa. I don't think you're going to see a honey. I think Bohica's going to get his 50 back. It's going to be squashed and even, and you guys have to get it back on the later matchup. I'm going with Bohica.
Dude, Matt Castle's not killing me. Sorry.
Oklahoma versus Do You Believe in Magic?
This Do You Believe in Magic? I've been sending trades out like crazy trying to pick up another running back, but I don't need one this week. Do You Believe in Magic beats Oklahoma?
I think Do You Believe in Magic will beat Oklahoma. Scooby-Dooby-Doo-wop.
Scooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Doo-wop. City of Champions.
Sandusky hurt my tight end versus Fives.
This is two friends playing against each other. One's going one way, one's going another. They're both about even. I think their records are one's 0-2, one's 1-1. I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go with Sandusky. I don't think his rear end's gonna get hurt twice this week.
Yeah, with the Toilet Bowl, I just couldn't bring myself to pick Sandusky, and being friends, I hope they're not hurting anyone's tight ends. Foz 0-2. I think as a newbie, you're going to get your first win. Congratulations. P&L versus Pain Inc.
Pain Inc. got on the message board last week and told 6165 Show that he ain't winning, and he didn't. So Pain Inc., I'm not going to roll with you this week because I just don't believe P&L is going to get beat.
I do believe P&L is going to get beat.
I just don't.
Pain Inc., I like you got on the message board. Return some of that trash talk, and I think you're going to reap the rewards from it this week. Pain Inc. over P&L. What you talking about, Hillis versus your nemesis, the Crusher?
What you talking about, Hillis? Got laughed at last week when I heard who he was playing, but he crushed somebody, kind of like the Crushers crushed me. I can't believe it. However, I'm gonna roll with what you're talking about, Hillis, just because he's got that cute black picture of Gary Coleman on his page. That's just great.
Well, I'm going to go against the Crushers. I think our first 6 picks were the same, maybe our first 7, and then from there, I think we had 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 that are different. I'm going with the Crushers.
Now, what you're saying is you really believe a guy that don't get on the site, picks up players that are hurt, barely sets their lineup in time, is gonna be 3-0 in this league?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
All
I think what you're talking about, Hillis, just isn't in enough.
Okay, all right.
We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, shit,
But I'm
both
going
of
with
them.
the Crushers.
Both of them were late to the draft, so maybe they got something in common. Maybe they'll be 2-1. Maybe we need to take some notes and not worry about it so much.
Maybe they were hurting each other's tight ends. I don't know.
Oh man, is that all the picks?
There's all the picks.
All right.
That's the Week 3 podcast.
Any questions you guys have, let us know. Everything's all right. Don't worry. The commissioners ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. We're
Week
right here.
3.
Ba-bam!
Ba-bam!